it's emerging as an election battleground. New research out today revealing the effects of the Coalition's vow to crack down on working from home. So could it be the issue that decides the election?
The opposition today on the defence over its election pledge to force public servants back into the office 5 days a week.
Work from home policy applies to public servants only. It doesn't apply to the private sector, and anything else is simply a Labor lie.
But it's not just public servants who will bear the brunt, according to new analysis from the ACTU. The union claiming a third of Aussie workers could be impacted by the flow-on effects of the work-from-home crackdown, mainly through increased traffic congestion. Labor vowing over the weekend to continue supporting the right to work from home, claiming forcing people back to the office would cost households about $5,000 a year in transport and parking costs.
Flexibility in workplaces has brought substantial benefits. This just shows how out of touch Peter Dutton is.
The PM labelling the crackdown anti-women.
It has increased workforce participation, particularly for women. Peter Dutton has said that, women can just go out and job share.
Work from home policy is not a gendered policy, and we've seen some egregious abuses of this privilege.
The Coalition initially went hard on the issue.
I'm not going to tolerate a position where taxpayers are working harder than ever to pay their own bills, and they're seeing public servants in Canberra refuse to go to work.
Now, a more softened stance from forcing all public servants back full-time to returning to pre-COVID levels. Experts warning the work-from-home issue is fraught with danger.
People may think of Labor's position as being very supportive of those people who are working from home and having an easy life. Hang on, I'm working really hard, 8 hours a day in the hot sun, whereas you're at home having coffee and working behind a laptop. But for the Coalition to play this wedge strategy and then try and make it a white-collar versus blue-collar debate, it's just ignorant of where we are right now.
So could the work-from-home debate swing votes this election?
You might be thinking, hang on, this issue may only get 3-4% of the vote. 3-4% though, in terms of a swing, will decide the outcome of this election.
Lauren Bernays lives in the outer suburbs of Melbourne and works from home full-time for an engineering firm. She's also a mum to 2 kids, aged 8 and 13, and she's with us now. Lauren, what would it mean for you and your family if you had to go back to the office full-time?
I think that actually would probably hurt our family quite a lot, actually, because I rely heavily on flexibility. So, that wouldn't just affect me in terms of, my career and how I am as a present mum, but my children and my husband. Just being a mum and everything like that, that would mean I'd have to put my kids into before and after school care. I wouldn't be able to show up to their after school activities because I'll be commuting. That would affect me a lot in that way as well.
If your company did force you back into the office, would you stay or would you quit?
Oh no, they'd know where I would stand with this. I would definitely leave.
Wow.
There would be no doubt in my mind.
So, Lauren, let's talk about the politics of this. The Coalition want to force 80% of federal public servants, so that's the ones that work in Canberra, back into the office 5 days a week. Now, that's not going to impact you. So does the policy that they're trying to introduce bother you?
I mean, I don't think it will impact me now, but, when they do things like this, I think this does end up impacting the industries. I think the fundamental responsibilities of a really great workplace and the workforce is around trust and respect, and that's showing neither of that to their employees. And I think what they're going to do in the end is cut out a lot of women in the workforce, since we, it's been known that we brunt the full responsibility of caretaking and so forth. So
I guess the thing is, Lauren, not all workers are like you and as efficient and diligent. And this is a point that employers are making, is that they're seeing a productivity drop-off. They're actually seeing that, they say, in their workplaces. Can you understand why they'd be keen to get people back?
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. But then again, that's the thing about not a one-size-fits-all approach works. And, I'm not to speak out of turn, but that's almost a you problem, I think. I'd really like to see the facts behind that, actually, because if anything, what we've seen is productivity increase in our company, and I've seen that across the industry as well. So I would like to see the facts on that first.
Work from home, do you think that is going to be an election issue, a vote changer?
Yes, I definitely do, and I can see that from a other countries.
What about you? Do you think it'll influence your vote, Lauren?
Yes, it would.
Say no more.
You and I reckon we should host the show from your place next week.
Sure.
Your lounge room.
He's got a great house as well. It would look fantastic.
Yeah.
I've got it all set up.
You've got my house all set up.
I've got everything set up.
This is a huge bombshell.
We've got another conversation to have, Lauren.
I won't be coming.
That's right, not invited. Lauren, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I think this is a vote winner for Dutton, not something that's going to cost him votes at all. I mean, he's talking about Canberra public servants. 36,000 extra have been hired during the term of this government. A whole bunch of them are sitting home in their leisure wear, tapping away at computers, not going to the office space that you and I pay to rent, which is still there in a lot of cases. So I think average workers, particularly frontline workers, would go, good on you. Make them go back to work where they ought to be.
I reckon there are two problems with that. One is, if it were a vote winner, they wouldn't be retreating.
I don't know they are retreating.
Well, a minute ago it was like, you're all going back, and then it was like, actually, no, you'll just go back to pre-COVID levels. And so,
Which is still 20%.
But that's a mistake then. He's got to hold his nerve and say, no.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that's a sign to me that they don't think it's a vote winner. Because why would they retreat? And then why would they say, oh, you're mischaracterising our policy? No, they'd commit, they'd double down, and they're not doing that. Sorry. The other problem is a previous coalition government sold off a bunch of buildings that these public servants work in. So they don't have buildings to go back to.
I've got a solution to that. Cut the numbers of public servants.
OK, but you know what? You
don't need buildings, you haven't got people.
And I understand this is very fashionable at the moment. And I'm sure you and Elon are extending a whole lot of texts. But the thing about it is, it's a tricky, maybe not text, maybe tweets, I don't know. But it's a tricky thing to do because history shows us when you keep cutting public servants like that, you end up hiring private, ends up costing more, and then you end up in a situation where you don't have accountability in the same way. So I just think it starts with public servants because he knows that's a convenient punching bag.
Oh, that's tough.
I think
that's a bit rough.
No, it's true. People. Well, you just took a swap.
They employed 36,000 extra in 2.5 years.
Yeah, great. But my point is, it's easy to have a crack at public servants. That's fine. But I think the problem is it's turned into a work from home argument that goes beyond public servants, and they don't like that narrative. Otherwise, they'd be.
You know when it's not easy to have a crack at public servants? When Pricey's fired them all. They don't
that is
Guys, speaking of working from home, Senator Jane Hume, she's talking about it. She said there were heaps of examples of people exploiting the system, but it does sound to me like she's singling out one particular guy.
And we've seen some egregious abuses of this privilege. Things like somebody working from home full-time that ends out there driving a caravan with their family around the country.
A caravan, a loophole, a home on wheels. Nice try. But I think we actually have the image of the person in question. There we go.
It's all become clear.
It all makes sense now, doesn't it? It's all looped together.
You're in trouble.
I don't work for the government. You can't fire me.